Hello and welcome back to a New Pace podcast. My name's Lesley and I'm your host for the podcast. And I really enjoy having these conversations with guests on my show where we can think about all things well-being, mindset, thinking about pausing, taking time to pause, act, create, and empower. And today we have not just one guest, not two guests, but three guests on the show. That was weird. Sam, Claire, and Emily. So, welcome, Sam, Claire, and Emily. We have Sam Rawlings, who's a children's creative counsellor, Claire
Hi.
Marshall, nature based psychotherapist and forest therapy guide, and Emily Kirk, who's a Reiki Master and Holistic Therapist. So, welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, to start with today, I thought it'd be really good just to hear a little bit and just to have an overview, like there's things that we could talk about and discuss as a whole, but about you individually, like thinking about you individually, because you do work together, but we're thinking about you individually. So I wonder, Sam, if you'd be able to just share a little bit of an overview of what it is that you do. And of course, if you remember, if you were listening to a previous episode of this podcast, Sam has been on before, so you'd have met Sam virtually before. So anyone that's already watched that will be able to like see how much you can remember of what she said. So not everyone would have heard that though.
Thanks, Lesley. So I'm Sam, a children's creative counsellor. I work with children 6 to 19, both inside, online, and outside in nature. And my nature sessions are called Creative Trails. I work very creatively, especially like using loads of different ways, not just arts and crafts. So we can be creative in loads of different ways that we are. Creative Trails is all about having that space outside and particularly in nature, because I find that a lot of children, young people find it hard when they have to be face to face in a room space. So therefore they don't need to do that, and we can use the outside resources to be creative without my big green trolley.
Yeah.
I'm a mum. I'm a grandma of 4 grandchildren. Yeah, and you can imagine we have lots of creative times together. I'm a member of an AMDRAM. I've done several shows and we're working on our pantomime at the moment. And
Ooh.
yeah, it's fun and it's really hard work, especially the dancers. Um, and I'm also a podcaster myself, so I love to talk. So my podcast is called Let's Get Creative, and I speak to a lot of different people around mental health, family support, creativity, and inspirational stories. And I'm also an author of a book collaboration from a few years ago.
That's brilliant. Thank you for so much, Sam. It feels like so important to be able to just have that as an overview, and creativity is clearly important to you, as it is for me as well.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to the show, Claire. So, Claire Marshall is all about nature. We said nature based psychotherapist. So, would you like to just give yourself, everyone, a bit of an overview of you?
No. Okay.
Oh.
A little one. It won't be. I don't have as much, that many exciting things to say. So I'm a nature-based psychotherapist and a forest therapy guide. I work with anyone, adults, from the age of 15 up or 16 up, but mostly adults and a few young people, out in nature. I run workshops that are based around forest therapy and wellbeing. I do relaxation evenings with Emily, where we offer Reiki. Emily offers Reiki, and I offer the eco-nidra meditation. What else do I do? I've got a talking circle coming up with Zoe, who is a nature-based occupational therapist. So we are starting a talking circle at the end of September, and that'll be once a month. And I have a new 7-month program coming up that starts end of September, all about how to find your authentic self and the space where you feel belonging by using psychotherapeutic what is the word? Let's just say invitations, but that's not the right word. Invention. What did you? What were you?
I offered
intervention. Yes, psychotherapeutic interventions and nature immersion. Yeah. That's it. Because I have not written any notes today. I like to have my notes and my script so that I know what I'm reading and what I'm saying.
This is the thing, it's just like having a sense as to who you are. So and welcome, Emily. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
So how would you describe what you do?
So I'm Emily. I fell in love with Reiki about 14 years ago and just used it on family and friends, and then decided I've always worked with children and just decided that I wanted to do something new. So I was teaching baby massage and decided that I wanted to support the parents because I was starting to see more and more how stressed out adults were and how difficult that time was. So I decided to use my Reiki and turn it into a business, but I wanted to do more than just Reiki. So I went back in 2020 and did my qualification to be a holistic therapist. And I didn't think I would ever do anything other than working with children, and it just felt like the most natural thing in the world to me. So it's kind of been a bit of a surprise. I just love supporting adults. I've had my own mental health struggles and know how important it is to look after ourselves. So now kind of that's what I want to do. I want to support and remind particularly women to just look after themselves and treat their bodies with respect and the care and attention that they need. So my big dream is to get a camper van and convert it, and it might be getting closer, so watch this space. But yes, that's the big dream. So my business is called Vanquility, and that's why it's called Vanquility, because I want to create a tranquil van where people can leave all the troubles from outside and just come and chill out inside. But for now I'm mobile, so you just have to do it in your living room. But yeah, that's what all about me, just reminding people to look after themselves and helping them to feel cared for.
And it's so important. Thank you, Emily. It's so important, isn't it, to look after ourselves, especially like I'm just really aware of that myself as a therapist myself, and working with lots and lots of people, and how it is so important. And like one of the things as well that like really strikes me about what you do together is that you really complement each other. And that's where like why I've wanted to have all three of you on the show, because you're not just Sam, Claire and Emily individually. You are working together on a project. You are collaborating together on a thing called the Power of Three. So the Power of Three.
I'm not allowed.
You can do what you like, Sam, if you want to.
The legs, the arms, the body's going.
You want to do like a superhero thing?
Yeah, of course.
You can do with enough enthusiasm for all of us.
Like, do you resist or do you do it? And do you need to, or do you just have that urge because of whatever? Anyway, it would be really good to hear about what is Power of Three. Like, who's best to maybe describe it, to give an overview of it?
We're all looking at you, Sam.
We're all looking at you, Sam.
Oh, it might be.
It was your idea originally, though, wasn't it?
That is true.
Right. See, that is a good point, actually. Yeah.
So it wasn't last year, it was the year before, wasn't it? It was the year before. No, it wasn't. It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Yeah. So July last year, I was at a business event, and a really quick, funny story. I was 45 minutes late. I got lost. And when I get anxious, I get lost. I've been there loads of times, but it just all went wrong. And the reason that happened is because I was doing it was my talk that day, it was my presentation. And I just built myself up so much that I'd just forgotten how to get there. So I ended up going the wrong way, ended up in every traffic possible. And as I say, 45 minutes late. It were almost as if it were meant to happen because there were only 6 of us. And I think if there'd have been a whole room of people, like she usually takes about 12, I think I would have had a meltdown that day. I just don't think I would have coped. So it completely changed the way that we did things. It was a really nice small group, and we all focused on about what we wanted to do, how we could support each other. So it was a very different kind of event than I've normally been to there. And one of the things for me, I mean, I did my talk, but again, very different. I was trying to read off notes, wasn't happening. She says, we don't want to know that. We want to know how you can support. So as a counsellor, so then I shut my book and then started talking, and it just flowed. And then between us all, we kind of talked about what we wanted to do, who we could support, and the collaborations as well, because obviously sometimes that comes into business events. And for me, I said very clearly, because it just come this thought. I work with a lot of families. I support a lot of families. Um, I'm in a CIC with Jana Kundan, and we're looking at supporting families, so the well-being side of it all. So for me, it's like a lot what I do is for families, but I'm a therapist, and it's like, and we need support as well. We need self-care, like, what we're talking about. So it was like, so I'd like to be able to do something, put a day together, like a well-being day for therapists. And so that was my thought. And at that time, I was looking into developing my walk and talk therapy, which it was called at the time. And knowing I spoke to Claire, and we met somehow, and I can't quite remember how, but Claire supported me with a risk assessment. We had a really good walk around Temple Newsam. And at that time, I spoke about this idea that had come up because we'd met each other a few times by then. So she'd said, oh yeah, I'd be interested. And then after that, we went to a fair in August that was for women, for support. There was loads of lovely stalls. And there was me and Claire, and then there was Emily there. Now I've known Emily 4 years, Emily, 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we met through going to a Mums in Business. We were both late. Can you see the theme here? Ask the girls, they'll tell you. We were both late. We were both panicking. We were both anxious. It was the first time. I mean, I'd gone to the wrong pub to start off with. So we both went in together, and that's how we met each other. Emily does my Reiki. We're good friends. So it was so lovely for Claire to be there doing her stall, me doing mine, and then Emily there. So you have your general chat and that. And then and the funny part is I'm saying, oh, I want this day to flow and everything. She went, flow? Spontaneous? Oh, you need structure. So she starts working out all these different, like planning this day and the money and all that. And I'm like, do you want to join us?
I was having heart palpitations that you were just like, yeah, it's going to be so free and easy and simple. I was like, yeah, but you have to have structure behind. You have to have structure behind to make it feel like that. And I was giving you heart palpitations because I was saying structure. And so yeah, so we settled into it, didn't we? And
yeah. And then we created, so then obviously I had to go tell Claire, I went, Claire, there's 3 of us now. And you can imagine my energy, bouncing all over. So then we arranged to meet and things, and then we really started thinking about how we wanted it to work. And we connected on the 3 of us. And then, like Emily said, our different, zodiac signs and how we are, how we work, how we support. And it just formed, and the power of 3, where we did a lot of looking into it. So I'm going to let Emily take over on this part about what the power of 3 means.
Yeah, so when we met that first time and we went for coffee, and we were like, oh, we'd really like this, we'd really like that, and just like every kind of aspect to everything just seemed to form into a 3. There were suddenly 3 of us, and the way that this event was going to work, it meant that we needed to base it around groups of 3. And then we kind of just, I think it was you that said, oh, the power of 3. And we were like, oh yeah, actually, let's look into that. And then when we looked into what the power of 3 actually meant, it was about how the earth how a lot of reality is based around the threes. We've got birth, life, death, we've got sun, earth, moon, and it's all about empowerment and moving forwards, and 333, and we just really like leaned into that, and everything just made complete sense, didn't it? And that's kind of how our name came about, because especially when we looked into it being sun, earth, and moon, we were very much like, Sam is just sells herself as the sunshine. She's this really bright, bubbly, beautiful personality, and Claire's obviously the earth, where she is very nature based, and she talks about trees and plants, and that's very much her vibe. And then I was like, I'm really like into the moon and how that affects me, and obviously I'm purple as well, and just like our colors just kind of went together, and everything just kind of fit really, really well. And so we were like, yeah, let's call ourselves the Power of Three. And that they were kind of our values as well, weren't they? That we wanted to help support people, and all about that growth and that being in alignment and everything like that, that really flows in with being a three. So it just kind of came about.
I knew this was really special, you know, like you said, Lesley, that it is special. I knew that it was really special. I've done collaborations before, and I've done like a couple of workshops, you know, with whoever I've done the collaboration, or they've not worked or whatever, but there was something different about this, and I just knew that it was meant to happen, and obviously meant to be with Claire and Emily, because even though we're different energies, we really connect so well, and especially when we're with each other. I mean, by the time we've been with each other, we're all giggling and laughing and just being
really,
silly, and
we balance each other out,
absolutely.
Don't we? But we also build each other up as well.
Yeah, when we're feeling not ourselves, we're just so supportive. So there's lots of communication outside seeing each other as well, because that's what it's about. So I would say, I mean, I might be wrong, but I would say that we are really close as friends as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So it sounds like what you were talking about, of wanting things to flow but then needing structure, and then wanting to like really recognizing your own strengths and recognizing your own values, and then that almost happening like naturally coming together because you've got those different values, and that there's a certainty about Claire and nature, and then like the sun, the moon, and the earth kind of fits so well, doesn't it? But I'm kind of wondering about like how you are, like you started to talk about it, of getting on, and you're talking about it being a good collaboration. And I was thinking, it strikes me that it can be hard to collaborate with people. It can be really fun to collaborate with people. And a lot of collaborations tend to be quite, I don't know, like individual things, like a project, rather than something that's more long term. So is there something that you would like talk about in terms of the dynamics? Like, are there any particular dynamics of, like, Sam, you started to talk about the energy. Is there anything that you would, maybe Claire might want to sort of share about this time, perhaps put you on the spot, but you don't have to, but about the sort of energy and the kind of, is there anything that you'd maybe think about in terms of how you are together, personalities or your characters, that make it work? What is it that makes it work compared to like working in a different thing?
I'm feeling the pressure of this question.
Yeah.
I
said pass if you want. We can.
I'll be brave. I think that everyone brings out something very different, and we balance each other out in the right ways. So Sam has all of these amazing ideas. She has a load of energy, and she brings all that, and she'll come with like a whirlwind, but in a good way. Like she comes and she's like, I've got this idea, what should we do? Let's just do it. And then Emily's like, okay, we need a list, we need a plan, we need the organization. And then I don't really know what I bring. I think I'm just the quiet one in the background. Like
No, you're not.
Definitely not.
No.
But then I feel like it all just kind of comes together. Like I think if one of us tried to do this by ourselves, apart from maybe Emily, I feel like Emily could get this off by herself.
No, definitely not.
we definitely need all three to kind of like anchor in to kind of keep us moving and not but not kind of like getting away with ourselves.
So there's an
Yeah,
element
definitely.
of not just support but accountability for each
Yeah.
other, and grounding, and being able to, we've got all these ideas, then we've actually got to do the practical, like official, like paperwork side of this, and then we've got to like
Claire's like the creative one. So Sam comes in with all the ideas, and then I go, okay, how are we going to make it work? And then Claire goes, okay, how can I make it pretty and how can I make it look beautiful? And she comes in with all the crafty stuff and then just like brings it alive, I think.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very much kind of right, let's have these photos done, let's have these videos done, arrange it all and everything. Right, let's do this and let's do that. And then we're messaging each other, and Claire might say, so do I need to bring, I went, yeah, bring all the cushions and all the blankets. Even in a message, I think they sense my energy, because I do get excited, because my inner child wants to come out and play. She wants to be part of this threesome, because for years I didn't have many friends, and or if I had friends, they want friends, but you don't learn about that when you're a child and when you're a teen and when you're a young adult, do you? You just keep bouncing against it and just not getting anywhere. So to have this beautiful friendship, don't get me wrong, I've got other friendships, but this is a beautiful friendship that there's three of us. And I always learn, and it's probably conditioned, Lesley, that three's a crowd. And I learned that as a long time, especially as a teen. Three's a crowd, and I would get pushed out or whatever. Whereas where three, there's no crowd here.
Yeah.
There's no crowd at all. And, and we're aware, like I said, I've got the really bouncy energy. But then I also know sometimes it's not right to be that bouncy, because there's things going on with either of them, or I'm here to listen. So my professional head might go on as well. Right, okay, so now this is my time to shut up and just be gentle, because I can. And I also feel we are very gentle and caring and like really calm as well, and peaceful. And I think that's what makes it work. That's what the strong connection is as well. So Claire's sat there really quiet and thinks she's a quiet one. No, Claire's got this really kind of giggly. She really has. She really has got this real giggly side. And Emily has as well. So we really, support each other.
Apparently, I've got a really loud eye roll as well.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Really? Oh, yeah. And don't we know?
I love this. I almost feel like I'm kind of being a bit voyeuristic in like your kind of club. I do. I feel like I'm sort of like spying on you. But I was thinking about what you just said about like the eye roll and things. I was thinking about like when we used to have to, back in the day when there was masks and things, and then now I'm really conscious of like how my facial expressions don't lie. Like I can't lie with my face. Like if I could pull all sorts of things with my mouth, but with but when I had a face mask on, it was great. I could just, people could probably see it through my eyes, but yeah, I couldn't. What you see is what you get for me, and I think it feels good that you're all able to complement each other, as well as putting on different hats at different times, and to rein in like the energy and to tune into different things. And yeah, that feels like a real nice balance. And I was just thinking about like if there's been any times when you've maybe disagreed, or when there's been challenges, or when there's been things that you've had to change and pivot on. Like, is that something that like it might be that's happened and you maybe have some tips for overcoming that, rather than wanting to share the specifics of it? But do you like, how would you sort of manage that? Because it is hard to, when everyone's got different opinions.
Yeah, I think we've been able to say like when there's been something bothering us, like when we did the event in May, and everyone came around here and we're getting it was the day before the event. We had loads of stuff to organize, And I knew that like on the event I needed to have like more energy. I needed to, I'm quite introverted, so I knew that like to address a group of 12 people, I needed to be a bit more like out there. I needed to, it was going to take a lot out of me. And I felt really comfortable to just be like, okay, you can come, you can do this stuff. I'm not going to say a lot. I'm going to be quiet. I'm just going to do what I need to do. And it felt okay to do that. Whereas normally I would have masked through that as well. And then when the event came, I would have been worn out. But it really felt like it was okay for me to just be like, I'm here in parts. I'm here. Take me as I am. Because I know that I need more, and they all needed more. UT needed more for me the next day, and that it felt safe to do that.
Yeah.
And I can only think of one time when it was a little bit stressful when we were trying to work out
Planning
who was
workshops.
Yeah, we were trying to, because we ran different workshops and we needed to group people together, and it was quite complicated. And Claire kind of had an idea and I had an idea, and our ideas were not quite the same. So we were like, we spent ages trying to work it out, and Sam was just sat there quietly because me and Claire were like this. And in the end I just went, I'm going outside. And I just took myself off outside, and those two kind of did something else. And we did
just drank tea.
Yeah, and it was like we were just like all
things.
just accepted that actually that was a really difficult thing that needed to be done. And I was like,
Yeah.
I need to do it, and they were like, you need to do it.
Yeah.
And we just got there, and then so there's no falling out. It was, I think for me that's the only kind of stressful time that we've. And then there have been occasions when I think all three of us have said something and been like, oh, was that the right thing to say? I'm really sorry. Did I upset you? Did I hurt you? And we were like, no.
Yeah.
I think we've all had those moments, but I would definitely think that we all just acknowledge each other's little quirks, don't we? We've all got our different quirks, and we all love each other for that, and just accept each other as we are, and that's what makes us us. And yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Spend more time laughing.
Go on.
Oh, sorry, I'm just saying we spend more time laughing than we have done feeling anything else. So.
Yeah. I feel that our friendships have deepened as well, because this year, after we'd done our first event, we decided we wanted to celebrate it, because we'd just like worked so hard, and we felt rewarded because of like it had been such a beautiful day. We'd had so much like lovely feedback, and then also booking the next one and people interested to come next year as well. So we were like, right, let's do something together. So Emily arranged that, which that was fine, because I didn't have a clue what we were doing. I just felt like, okay, I'll just give me some dates, because I was rehearsing at the time. Just give me dates and things. And then I nearly and then I nearly forgot all about it as well, even though we were all booked and everything. So we ended up going on a lovely like overnight spa experience, taking note that we've not done that with each other before. We've had a couple of hours with each other, like planning as such. We haven't done the fun times, do you know what I mean? Out of the power of three as such. So we were almost like ourselves, but the power of three. And I don't mind saying myself, at one point I got really panicky and anxious, and I didn't want to do what Claire and Emily were doing, and I just couldn't cope, and I got really emotional, and they held me. They supported me, and just said, well, they gave me that choice. So they were listening, do you know what I mean? And it just felt, I'm in the right space. I mean, this just feels so amazing. And then the opposite side of that is we were having a games night. Oh my God. You know, when we said about Claire being the quiet, well, we can, I won't swear,
brutal.
But oh my God.
I like to win. I'm just a bit
what the heck's going on here? She's so competitive. Really competitive.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you mentioned your spa sort of experience, because at that point I was about to ask about it. So there must be something in the air. So, but actually, like, it just something what you were speaking of with that, of just really honoring yourselves and really like being aware of your individual needs at the same time as being aware of the collective needs. So being able to say, actually, I need to back a little bit now and preserve my energy, because the group will benefit more from me having more energy like in the event than it will be me being high energy to plan it and to talk about it. And I've definitely done those things where I've chosen not to join something because I've thought, well, I'm not there, I'm not at that space. So a lot of that's about self-awareness. So it feels really good that you've got that balance of self-awareness and that collectiveness. And as an outsider, I wouldn't think I would think that you've known each other for longer than that. It's like you might have known each other sort of generally for longer, but I would see it as being going for longer, because it feels like that you're there. And I think about siblings and how actually siblings how siblings are. And I'm one of three, and we very rarely get on, all three of us together, but even now as adults, two of us will get along at the same time as the other two, but not necessarily the three. So it does feel really balanced with that. So let's talk about your event. So you've touched upon the event in May and what that was like, and I know that you've got other events planned, which it feels really exciting. It feels like maybe like different approaches, like different focuses on the events. So yeah, if you were to explain to people like what it is about the events, what would they be coming to if they were going to join one of your events?
Claire, okay, I came prepared. So we have two events. So the one that we did in May was called what was it called?
Inspired, Empowered, United.
Inspired, Empowered, United, which we are repeating in next May, which is called Bloom, Align, Shine. And they are day retreats for women in wellbeing who run their own business. And the idea or the premise behind that is you give once and you receive threefold. So those days are a set of mini workshops where you would come, you would present your workshop, and then you also get to participate then in three other workshops. We really kind of went with the three with this event, because alongside that, myself, Sam and Emily all delivered our own little workshops throughout the days as well. So you got an extra 3 things from us. We had a professional photographer come and take pictures and videos, so everybody had their own pictures of them delivering their own work. Yeah, that was just such an amazing day, and very excited for that next May. That's on the 17th of May. We've already sold 5 spaces, so we've got just 6 spaces, 7 spaces, can't do maths, 7 spaces left for that. Does somebody else want to talk about Rested, Connected, Grateful? Oh,
yeah, I can do that if you want.
Yeah, I'll pass you on to Emily.
Yeah, so we obviously, that was Sam's main idea, to do it for people in wellbeing, for the therapists and the people, to ensure that they look after themselves. But we loved it so much, didn't we? We were just like, yeah, but we need to do more. So we wanted to open it to just everybody, really, because everybody deserves that loving care and attention, and to look after themselves. So which is why we decided to kind of change it up a little bit. So the one in October is open to anybody women who no matter what you do, just anybody who knows that their self-care is important and wants to look after themselves. So this is called Rested, Connected, Grateful, and we intentionally did it in October, just as the changing of the seasons is coming in. So it's actually ended up on the day of the changing of the clocks as well. So it's we're really wanting to, Claire said, our preparation for hibernation, which I absolutely loved. So it's about just really calming down, slowing down, looking back over the year, seeing what we've been grateful for, see what wonderful things have happened. So just really reaching for that gratitude, and reminding ourselves that there are wonderful things, even if the year's been difficult, there are still wonderful things that will have happened to be grateful for. And then just really starting to wind down, starting to slow down, connecting with nature, obviously settling into the rhythm of the year. Obviously the leaves, as it gets darker and the leaves start to fall, it's about shedding what we don't need. We want to kind of align ourselves with that, with nature in that way. So that Claire's going to take us on a walk. Sam's going to do the gratitude creative. So again, this is where we all bring our different strengths. So Sam's that creative, so she's going to do the creative gratitude practice. Claire's going to take us out into nature to really tune into that. And obviously, I'm about tuning into our bodies. So I'll be offering a self-care ritual where we can connect to ourselves and our bodies and really turn inwards. And then we're just going to, throughout the day, it's going to start with more activity, and throughout the day we're going to get calmer and calmer and calmer, just as we want to ease into the autumn. So then we'll finish the day with some Reiki and a beautiful meditation, and then a tea ceremony to just reflect on the day. So again, it's bringing in all our different strengths, all the things that we're fabulous at doing, and really helping people to just settle into the winter and just slow down. And then we're hoping to do one again in the spring where we can do it the opposite way, and then we'll start to wake ourselves up. So that's the plan. So the plan hopefully will be, funnily enough, to have 3 events a year, if you hadn't have guessed. So,
yeah. It just feels like so much sort of synchronicity between you all that it just makes sense that things would just flow naturally, but the structure's there, and then it's flowing naturally. So talking about the seasons changing, and the clock's changing, and then starting with more energy, and then gradually sort of leading into sort of more stillness, and that feels just like sort of a natural cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it feels like it makes sense to allow yourself to rest and allow yourself to pause. And these are if somebody was maybe unsure about going, and that they've maybe never experienced some of those things before, what sort of things would you explain to them? How might they feel? How might they how might they feel at the end thing? What have people said about the events and things like when they've been?
Do you want to do that, Sam, or do you want me to do? Do you want me to carry on, or do you want to take over?
Well, I can't remember the test.
It doesn't need to be specific. But
I was going to say, I haven't brought that. I didn't think of bringing
you don't need to read anything out or anything. But like, are people like reporting that they're feeling rested, or are people reporting that they're like feeling a certain way?
Yeah, and I think some of the feedback was that I don't think they knew what to expect. So you're talking about that people who haven't been before. These are wellbeing practitioners who work in some way similar to us, and some of them really wasn't sure what to expect. And you could see that, you could feel that energy as well when they were a little bit unsure or felt anxious themselves. But the way that they left was like that, almost that wow moment, as in, this has been such a beautiful day. I think one of the things was the structure. Emily, the structure, as in, and Claire as well. I mean, we had sheets and clipboards on that day.
Yeah,
I'm like, why are you giving me a sheet and a clipboard?
Highlighted, colour coordinated.
Oh my gosh, I was like, what are you doing to me? I'll go stand at the gate and I'll bring people in. I can do that. I can stand with the balloons. Yeah. So yeah. But it was very much around, they liked the way it did. I think they were really impressed and inspired the way that we structured the workshops. So as Emily said, there were very much around three workshops run at the same time. And then there were so many during the day, so that everybody got 3 each and did one workshop. And I think that were a big thing for quite a few of the ladies who came. I don't think they expected it to be so structured that everything fit in, and nothing were missed out at all. Emily was walking around with a little bell. Well, not a bell, but a little ding, bell.
Yeah.
And I kept looking, thinking, it's going to go off in a minute. I better finish. Because it's easy when you're passionate to just get carried away and talk or whatever you're doing. I mean, I was doing things with bubbles and creativity and things. So there was a lot of movement with mine and then making jazz. So it was one of them that there wasn't, you could have run out of time, but having them time slots worked in some way to make sure nobody was missed out. And I think that was important to us as well. And it was our first event, so you can imagine we wanted it to be right and make sure that everybody had enjoyed the time, if that's what they wanted to take away. But yeah, it was just so lovely. And the workshops that came as well, we had such variation that they like wrote comments for particular, all there were feedback for each workshop as well for those wellbeing practitioners that came, and they got some lovely feedback as well. So it was a real kind of shared day, even though we ran it, we hosted it. In fact, everybody were part of it because they all had a part to play. And I think that was, I would say, one of the biggest takeaways.
Yeah.
Would you
And
say?
obviously that was called Inspired, Empowered, United. So that one, we wanted it to have a different feel to the one that we're going to have. And
Yeah.
like you say, everybody was really nervous, not quite, because it was something quite different as well. There was a lot of nerves and anxiety about what's it going to be like. But I definitely feel like at the end of it, there was an overwhelming sense of togetherness. There were a few tears, weren't there?
Yeah.
And like the feedback that we got from people saying that they really did feel inspired, empowered, united, was overwhelming for us, really. We were just like, and the fact that 5 people instantly within 24 hours booked on for the next year, and we had people saying, I really want to come next year, but actually I just can't commit that far ahead. I think that was a massive kind of I don't know what the word is, sign that we, that people had truly felt welcomed. I think that was one of the things as well, like they really felt welcomed and held by us, which, yeah, it was, we got some fabulous feedback. We were blown away, weren't we? Yeah, so that again, that is what we want to bring to this next one. We want to bring a different vibe, but we know the vibe that we want to bring, and we feel confident that we can bring that different vibe. So we do want people to feel like they will be rested and like they will be welcomed and cared for. So if people are nervous about coming, or if they're nervous about coming on their own, we will definitely look after people and make sure that they don't feel on their own or left out. And if there's something that they don't want to take part in, then that's absolutely fine. There's spaces where they can be somewhere else. They can so everybody's welcome, and just turn up as they are, and we will support and hold people where they need to be.
And you've got your own website, like For the Power of Three, and your own socials, so people can sort of find you as a collective as well as finding you individually.
Absolutely.
So and what I'm hearing as well is that people are booking on for next May as well as for October, the end of October event. So, and depending on what sort of flavour, you might end up wanting to come to them both, sort of thing. So that sounds like it's maybe just capturing that. It's like being able to just lean into and allow yourself to be poured into, and just definitely be looked after and nurtured.
Yeah.
Which for some people don't really take any time to pause at all, or to sort of take any time out. So
I had a client on I was working with a personal client. She had a massage with me on Tuesday, and she suffers with fibromyalgia, and I could tell that she was having a really bad day, and I really wanted to look after her, like I do anyway, but in particular she just looked like she was having a really bad time. And so when I was doing the massage, I wanted her to feel like I was looking after, and she came around and she just went, I actually felt like somebody cared then. And I was like, that was like the biggest compliment I could have had, because that's exactly how I wanted her to feel. And I was like really grateful for that. So yeah, I feel like that's what we bring. We care, and you can feel our care.
Yeah. And that's huge, isn't it? When there's so much going on in the world that's challenging and going on for people individually.
Yeah.
So at the moment, like, just to kind of bring things together, I was wanting to ask about like those 4 elements: pause, act, create, empower. However, it feels like we've absolutely covered it. Like, we're talking about empowerment and how people are being given the sort of choice to be able to show up and kind of really express themselves and do something for them and hold space for a mini workshop for the people, as well as being like fully creative. Taking time to pause is a huge thing, isn't it? But is there anything else within those words, that space, that idea of stepping into a new place, that fits for either you as an individual or the power of 3 as a whole? Any thoughts on that?
Tell me what they stand for again, because I forgot.
Pause, act, create, empower. I don't know why I do this whenever I'm doing it. It's either pause, act, create, empower. Step into a new place hour by hour. It has a little jingle, but pause, act, create, empower.
Yeah.
Go.
Sorry. All right.
No, go.
I was just going to say, I suppose that like that is something that you would get at any of our events, a bit of everything. That we want you to take this time for you. We want you to be able to pause, to slow down a little bit, but we also want you to be able to showcase who you are, whether that's in your comfy clothes, nestling into the October event and just really caring for yourself. Maybe you're turning up because you're just not having a very good time at the moment and you haven't washed your hair in 3 days and you just come in your pajamas. Like, we are here for that. Like, you know, if that's what you need, then we can support that. Or whether it's you've got a new workshop coming out and you want to showcase it, you want to trial it in front of a group of people that are going to be willing participants. That's something else that we would do in the May event. So it's, you know, we're here for you whatever season you're in, and we're hopefully going to help you nurture that and give you that courage and strength to empower yourself through what you experience.
Can I just add? So I was thinking pause that come to mind for me, and kind of echoing what Claire said, but about the 3 of us, that it's important that we pause as well and that we make sure that we feel okay. So we do, like, before, when we meet to do our like planning meetings and then catch ups, we always bring meditations in as well, or some mindfulness, because I think that's really important for us to feel. It's like when my clients come, we have a little check-in, you know, so getting them in the space and things like that. And so we do that as well ourselves. And it's also our check-ins as well. So if there's anything that we need to offload so that we're in that space to support each other, that's what we do as well. So pause for me is one of the most important, because it's being mindful of each other, but it's also having our own mindfulness as well, those moments that we need to just be ready, because it's a big energy, you know, they're big energies, these events. Even the October one, even though it's a lot calmer, I still feel there'll be a lot of energy used, because you're with a lot of people who've got different characters and personalities. So it's about making sure that we look after ourselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think just adding to that, people obviously that might not be able to come to our events, we're all, everything that we do, you can create in some way yourself at home. So like obviously, like with the Sam's creativity, you know, you might want to do some colouring or something like that, you know, if anybody is feeling stressed out, like take the bits that we are bringing into this, you can do those yourself at home. You can find a colouring book, you can go for a walk in the woods, you can sit yourself in, you don't have to meditate if that is a barrier for you. Just sit yourself, close your eyes and just take some deep breaths, you know, and actually getting some oil and just rubbing some oil, even if you give yourself a hand massage, a foot massage, you know, just washing your face a bit more mindfully and slowly, All these things just really help you to bring yourself back to yourself. So everything obviously that we've got on offer, we want to be able to support you with that. But if you're not able to come, then all those elements we can help you do that yourself at home, you know. And if anybody wanted to reach out and ask for some hints and tips, we're more than happy to do that. Or if anybody just wants to look on our individual websites, you know, we've all got hints and tips on our websites that you can use to support yourself.
Yeah, thank you. And this is exactly what I thought that you would be able to offer as well by coming on the podcast, that a space to be able to talk through, like maybe if somebody's looking to collaborate with a group of people, what that might be like, and giving them an experience, your experience, as well as that invitation to come to one of your events, and actually having those tips as to like why all of your individual practices are helpful. So thank you so much, all three of you, for coming on the show. And I really, really appreciate you giving up your time to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening to this episode of A New Pace podcast, where Sam, Claire and Emily and the Power of Three have come together with me, the stalker. I feel like I'm a stalker, like voyeuristic, in this moment anyway, to hear about you and it just feels so lovely to hear how connected you are. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.